bring yourself to a comfortable seat. You might slip something beneath your seat to lift your hips. And let's actually begin by walking your fingers backwards a little bit here. So just pressing your fingertips into the ground, stretching into your front body. We're going to take a nice few yawns here, stretching the muscles on your face. And then begin to walk your hands in, coming back to your long spine. Might rotate the hands up, join your fingers and your thumbs, or you might keep your hands palms down. And just allow yourself to focus your attention inward. And just tuning into this ever-present rhythm of your breath. Noticing this morning how your breath is moving in your body. And here, if you haven't yet, beginning to consciously lengthen your inhale. Consciously lengthen that exhale to match. And just here, just in this act of becoming conscious and aware of your breath, know that your practice has begun. And if there's any seeds you'd like to plant at the start of our practice, now is a good time to connect with an intention. I've been really working myself for the past few months with just the intention of being more aware, and then at the same time less judgmental about what I find. So maybe that will be the intention you choose to work with today. And just breathing in here all the way to the base of your spine. Let your breath wave out of you completely. And maybe here you'll begin to add in a moment of pause, what the yogis call kumbhaka. So breathing in, maybe to take a moment, a breath, space of a breath, and then as you exhale, suspend your breath outwards just for a beat. And falling here into this pattern, this inhale with a moment of pause. Exhale with an equal length pause. And just connecting here with what you encounter in those pauses. And that stillness. Let's join both palms at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And tuck your chin in here, allowing for your eyes to gently open. We will take the sound of Om together, so feel free to listen or to join in. Lifting your chin, roll both shoulders back. And a little lift into your sternum. And if you're Oming, let your next inhale prepare you. Okay, next exhale, let's release your chin downwards. Release both hands down to your lap. And as your eyes open here, just begin to circle into your neck. Moving slowly enough to connect with how you're feeling. And the next time your chin draws towards center, pausing here. And reverse your circles, moving now in the opposite direction. And pausing here, the next time your chin is drawing towards center, keep your gaze down. Begin to extend your fingertips behind you, palms parallel, pointing towards each other. Nice big inhale. Full exhale here. Let's rotate your palms forward, and on an inhale, begin to lift your fingertips up. As your fingers lift your gaze, tracking your hands as they join above your head. Use your exhale, bring both hands through heart center to Anjali Mudra. Releasing here, stretch your fingers backwards, drop your gaze downwards. And next inhale, let's lift up, lengthen your hands and arms up. Track your eyes if that works for your neck. Use your exhale back through center. I'm just taking a few of these, dropping into your own breath rhythm so that each inhale, you find that sense of lift. And each exhale is that drawing back towards the heart center, back downwards towards the earth. Good. The next time your hands come to heart center, let's pause here. Take your hands to your knees and cross your right leg in front. If it's not there already, if your leg's already crossed in front, keep your right leg crossed in front. Take another nice big inhale, stretch your 10 fingers to the sky. As you exhale, we're going to twist towards your right leg. The left fingertip comes to your right knee, right hand comes behind your body. Extend your right arm upwards at shoulder height here. Good, palm can be facing any direction that feels good. Just hand up at shoulder height, and then imagine that somebody's behind you tugging on your wrist. That action is going to tug your torso slightly towards the wall behind you. Good, keep your gaze towards that back right hand. Nice big inhale here. Use your exhale, release your right fingertips down to the ground, breathing here. Bring some awareness here into the jaw and the temples. Thinking anywhere that might be holding or tightening to the breath. And just try to find a softness there. Good, let's inhale. Bring your gaze towards center, looking over the left shoulder. Keep that right hand pinned behind your body. So still twisting, just rotating the neck in the opposite direction. Continue to find a softness here into your jaw. And on an inhale, let's release the twist. Bring everything back to center. Stretch your fingers to the sky. Lift your gaze. Use your exhale. Bring your hands to your heart. And releasing your fingertips behind you. Let's cross now left leg in front. Next inhale, find that extension upward. Exhale, twisting now to the left. Gaze comes over your left shoulder. Find that lift in your left arm. Envision somebody kind of just tugging very gently, bringing your torso slightly back, and then release your left hand to the ground. Keep your gaze over that back shoulder. And here, take a funny face. Make as twisty of a face as you can. Stick your tongue out, open your eyes, get weird. And then letting your face relax, let's rotate just your chin now, looking over the right shoulder. Breathing here. And next inhale, we'll bring it back to center. Stretch your fingers to the sky, lift your eyes. Use your exhale, bring both hands to heart center. And then releasing anything that might be beneath your feet, you can scoot that off to one side. If you have blocks close to you today, you can set one up towards each short end of your yoga mat. We'll use those a little later on into the practice. And let's begin here on your hands and your knees. Feel free to settle something soft like a blanket underneath your knees if you want some extra softness here. Let's get a drop your heart forward, lift your gaze upwards, nice big inhale. As you exhale, begin to curl into your spine, drop the weight of your head down. And like a wave here, starting at the base of your spine, begin to lengthen, drop your belly down, lift your eyes up. And exhale, curling inwards, dropping here in a chakra of Akasana into your own body's rhythm. And this time your spine comes through neutral. Let's pause there. Neutral spine, gaze directly down between your thumbs. Curl your right toes under, lift your right foot up to hip height. Keep your foot nice and active. And just breathing here. And on an exhale, let's lower your right knee to the ground. Use an inhale, lift your left foot upwards, keeping your leg extended. Hip height here for your foot. Keep pressing through your heel, toes point down to the ground, breathing here. And exhale, soften that knee down to the ground. Curl your 10 toes under here. Spread your 10 fingers wide apart. Begin to grip the earth with your finger pads. And with your toes curled under, just hover your knees above the ground. Nice inhale here. Use your exhale to lift your hips up and back. Keep your knees deeply bent as you press your belly back towards your thighs, coming into a bent knee variation of our downward dog. You might choose to stay here, or you might choose to begin to straighten the legs and bend alternate knees, walking your dog out. Good, and if we've been bent knees here, or if we've been alternating bent knees, let's begin to straighten the legs. Press the center of your thighs backwards. Draw the inner edges of your thighs, spin those outwards. Fully relax the weight of your head here and bring some awareness into your pointer fingers and your thumbs. Press those a little bit more firmly into the ground. Nice big inhale here. As you exhale, begin to walk your feet forward. Find that front line of your yoga mat. Bring your fingertips to your knees, lengthen your spine halfway. Big inhale here. Exhale, soften inwards. Plant your hands. Let your head be heavy and release your head side to side. Find an action of drawing your chin in and out, nodding yes. And on an inhale, let's invite both hands to your hips. Roll your shoulders open. Use your exhale, rise up here. Inhale, reaching upwards, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Nice big inhale, reach up, lift your heart to the sky. Then exhale, pour yourself over your hips, reach for the earth. Take your half lift here, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, soften in. Step back with your right toes. Lower your right knee down to the ground. Plant your right hand beneath your shoulder and use an inhale. Stretch your left fingertips upwards. Exhale, bring your left hand to your heart. Drop your eyes down. Nice big inhale here. Extend and stretch upwards. Let your eyes follow, if that works for your neck. And exhale, coming to center. So just moving here with your breath. Beginning to stretch and warm the fascia of the body, these long lines that serve to stitch us together. Next time your hand comes to heart center, let's pause here. Release your hand down to the ground. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up and away from the ground. Keep your heel free here. Draw the inner edge of your back thigh nice and strong up to the sky. Big inhale here, fingers down. As you exhale, activate the inner thighs, drawing towards each other. Lift both hands to heart center. Nice big inhale, stretch your fingers upwards. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Inhale here, stretching up. Exhale, coming to heart. Few more times here, following your breath. Good. The next time your hands come to heart center, let's pause here. Use an inhale. We're going to play with stepping that back foot forward and hovering the foot. So if you wiggle a little bit, if you need to drop your toes to catch your balance, that's okay. But let's begin to set your eyes on a non-moving point. Nice big inhale. Feel that steadiness of that non-moving drishti point begin to come within to your belly. And then your next inhale, let's step off that back foot, hovering your knee here. Maybe stretch your 10 fingers up to the sky. Next exhale, track your hands through heart center, release your foot to the ground. And let's shake out opposite arm, opposite leg. Taking this opportunity just to create those connections, right and left brain. And then release both of your feet back down to the ground. Take a nice big inhale, sweep upwards, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, lengthen forward, lower down into your forward fold. Take your half rise here, Ardha Uttanasana, then exhale, soften in, step back with your left toes, lower your left knee to the ground. And here we'll plant your left hand down, right hand sweeps up with your inhale, comes back to heart center with your exhale. Breathing here, drop into your own rhythm of your breath. Good, and the next time you find your hand coming to your heart, release those fingertips down to the ground. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up and away from the ground. Feel that lengthening into the back leg. If you need to feel a little more stable, you might play with hopping those toes slightly forward, shortening the space. Nice big inhale here. Breathe into the length of your spine. Stretch away from your back heel. As you exhale, draw your belly button inwards. Bring both hands to your heart. Inhale here, stretching up, back heels free. Exhale, invite your hands to heart center. And moving here with your body's rhythm. Inhale, feel how it feels to stretch up. Exhale, connect with the feeling of drawing back towards center. Good, one more time, expansive upward lift. Grounding downwards, coming hands to heart center. Let your gaze here begin to fix on a non-moving point. Good, and as you connect with that steadiness outwards, bring that steadiness inwards into your center. And on an inhale, we'll step our back knee in and up, hover here. Maybe keep hands at heart center, maybe play with how it feels to reach up to the sky. And on an exhale, draw both hands back to heart if they're lifted. Lower your lifted foot and we'll shake out opposite arm, opposite leg. Beautiful. Roll your shoulders backwards here a few times. And then roll your shoulders forward. Good, set both hands onto your hips. Drop your gaze down to your toes. Begin to separate your toes here, hips width distance apart. And as your toes separate, Lift the 10 toes up and away from the ground. Begin to consciously ground down through the corners of the feet. So grounding down through the balls of your foot beneath your big toes. Grounding down through the balls of your foot beneath your pinky toes. And then track that grounding backwards to ground through your inner and your outer heels. Good. From here, soften your toes downwards, bend into your knees. Keep your weight into your hips, into your heels. So you should still be able to wiggle the toes here as we begin to come into our yogi squat, Utkatasana. Might stay here, hands on hips, or you might extend your fingers upwards. Let's bring both hands to heart center here. Nice big inhale, roll your shoulders, lengthen your front body. As you exhale, lengthen forward over your thighs, twist towards your right leg, left elbow is going to hook. Roll your top shoulder, so right shoulder open. If it serves you, maybe lift your gaze up. If it serves you, maybe play with how it feels to open your hands away from each other, left hand reaching down, right up to the sky. Good, and if your hands are separate, let's bring them back towards each other. Use an inhale, bring yourself back to center. As you exhale, lift your hips, lower your fingertips, coming into our Uttanasana. Take a half rise here. Gaze down, spine nice and long, then exhale, soften in. Plant your hands onto the ground, step your right toes backwards. Keep your heel free. Take that action of drawing the inner thighs towards each other. Nice inhale here. Breathe into the length of your spine. As you exhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Bring your hands to heart center. Find your hips. Then rotate the right toes outward. Right heel spins down, coming here into our warrior. Let's just begin to bend and straighten into the left knee. Drop your gaze down towards the left toes. Cats are trying to steal the show here. Soften it next time that knee bends forward. Extend your fingertips away from each other. Keep your gaze over the left fingertips here. See if you can connect with a sense of lightness in your upper body. And this can be contrasted with a sense of groundedness, of heaviness in our low body. You might even close your eyes a moment just to connect inward. Nice big inhale. Exhale, release both hands to heart center. Straighten into your left leg. Rotate all 10 toes towards center. Inhale here, stretch your fingertips upwards. Exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Let's begin to bend into the right knee. You're going to straighten the left leg long. Drop your right fingertips here, coming down into our Skandasana. And as we settle our fingertips into the ground, you might keep your left toes pointing forward, left sole of your foot connected to the ground, or you might play with how it feels to spin the left toes upwards. Let's release the right hand down to the ground on the outer edge of your right knee. Sweep your left fingertip up to the sky. Gaze up or forward or down here. Choose what best serves your neck, what best allows your breath to move freely. Good, and if that left arm is lifted, use an inhale. Lower your left hand to the ground. Next inhale, let's surf ourselves back to center, torso up, hands outwards, breathing upwards into a nice open star pose. Then step or hop your feet together here, coming to the center of your yoga mat. We're going to take some nice circles into your shoulders. Moving your shoulders in the opposite direction, circling forward. Lovely. Let's find our way back to that top line of your yoga mat. Settle both hands onto your hips. Drop your eyes towards your toes. Begin to peel your 10 toes upwards as you consciously ground here through the four corners of your feet, connecting with this yogi lock, our Pada Bandha. As you ground through the corners of the feet, envision this action of lifting up in your arches. Might just be an imagination, and that's okay. Keep that firm connection with the soles of your feet in the earth. Lower your toes, bend into your knees, drop your hips down and back, coming into our Utkatasana. Good, keep the thighs parallel here. Avoid the knees knocking towards each other. Might stay hands on hips, or you might sweep your arms parallel to your ears. Option to stay here or bring both hands to heart center. Roll your shoulders back, lift your sternum, and then twist now towards the left. Top shoulder spins, open gaze could be up, forward, or down. Maybe just want to stay for an Anjali Mudra, or maybe we want to stretch our fingertips away from each other. And exhale, join the palms if they've been separated. Use an inhale, bring yourself back to your Utkatasana, bent knees. Exhale, lift your hips, lower your fingertips, coming here into your Uttanasana. Take your half lift here, gaze down, spine lengthens parallel to the ground, and then exhale, soften in, big step back with the left toes. Keep that left heel free. Nice inhale here. Use your exhale, rising up. Stretch your fingers up to the sky. And then bring your hands through center down to your hips. As your hands find your hips, spin the back toes open, back heel comes down. And we get into bend and straighten into our front leg as we make our way here into our warrior. Might stretch your fingers away from each other. Maybe finding a stillness now into that front knee. And breathing here. Good, really go inwards here. These yoga asanas, they work a lot with the physical body, a lot with stretching and strengthening your muscles, softening into your fascia. But they also work a lot on the energetic body. It's more subtle work. See if you can tune into that. Let's exhale, lower your hands down to your hips, straighten into your front leg, rotate those toes to face center, stretch all 10 fingers up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Begin to bend into the left knee. As we bend left, our fingertips are going to reach down, catch the ground on either side of your left foot. Straighten into your right leg, coming into our Skandasana. An option to stay here, both hands supported by the ground, or stretch upward, stretching towards your long legs. Gaze here, it could come up, forward, or down. And just breathe into what you encounter. Good, if that top hand is lifted, use an inhale, lower that top hand down to the ground. Exhale here. And next inhale, lift upwards. Stretch your fingertips away from each other. Breathing here, nice big star pose. Then step or hop your feet towards each other. Good, we're gonna stay in this orientation on our mat, so facing the long end of our mat. Go ahead and take your blocks if you're using them. Not necessary if you don't have them, but a nice touch if you do. Settle each block on your yoga mat towards the short end. Bring your hands to your hips. Begin to stretch your heels away from each other, coming here to a wide-legged stance. Let's rotate your right toes outward. Keep your left toes facing forward towards the long end of your yoga mat. Good, with your hands on your hips, just let your belly soften towards your long right leg. Let your gaze come down towards the right toes. Extend your right arm up to shoulder height. Let your gaze now land on the right palm. Nice big inhale here. Find a lift in your sternum, softening down, ground down through both heels. Next inhale, find that lift through the crown of your head. As we exhale, lengthen over your long right leg. Come long, 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 and then catch your block that's waiting. Maybe change the height of your block. Meet yourself where you are today. Try to keep your heart shining forward. So we don't want our heart and gaze to rotate down. Good. Release your hand from your back hip. Send that arm forward, palm facing down towards the ground. Straight line from your shoulder to your wrist. Inhale, plug your straight arm a little more deeply into the shoulder socket, and then extend the fingertips up to the sky, moving here into our Trikonasana, triangle pose. Good. Wherever your right hand has landed here, whether it's on a block or on the ground, really actively press down through those fingertips. Let your right hand be as integral part of this pose as are both feet. See if that freedom of grounding down through your feet, down through the right fingertips, gives you any space in the rest of your body. Good. If that top hand is lifted here, let's settle it back onto your hip. Rotate your gaze downward. Press into both feet as if you're stretching your feet away from each other. Lift your body upwards here. Rotate all 10 toes towards center. Step or hop your feet inwards here. Bring both hands to your hips. Drop your gaze down. Find that Pada Bandha here, grounding equally through the four corners of both feet. Then begin to consciously send your weight into that left leg. Free your right heel, rotate your right knee outwards, join the sole of your right foot to the inner left leg. Lift your gaze, connecting here with a drishti. Maybe hands come to heart. Maybe your fingers lift away from each other, coming here into your Vrikshasana or tree pose. And join your hands at heart. Releasing your right foot down to the ground. Let's step your feet away from each other. Bring both hands down to your hips. Rotate now the left toes outward, straightening into your left leg. Drop your gaze towards the top of your left foot. Let your low belly follow. So lower abdomen kind of goes with you into this shape. And then release your left hand from your hip. Bring your arm up to shoulder height, palm facing the sky. Let your gaze come to the palm of your left hand. Good. Ground down through both heels here. Nice big inhale. Find that extension upwards in your spine. As you exhale, lengthen long over your left leg. Long, long, long. And then drop your hand down, maybe to your waiting block, maybe to the ground. And as you set yourself up here, just begin to feel into the side body. The stretch starts to take effect. Maybe stay here. If we have wonky shoulders, that right hand is not going to want to move from the hip. But if you do want to go further, release your right hand outwards, palm parallel to the ground, nice straight arm. Hug your straight arm in and then open your palm upwards. Gaze here could come up, forward, or down. Always looking to best release into your neck. So let your breath float through your body here. And again, becoming aware of more than just the physical aspects of these shapes that we make in our practice, really tuning in with the energetic effects. Good. On an inhale, breathe and extend outward. On an exhale, release that hand if it's lifted. Drop your gaze. Stretch your heels away from each other. Inhale, rise up here. Rotate your left toes forward and bring your feet towards each other. Good. Let's drop your gaze downwards. Connect with nice firm feet connected to the earth here. Sending now your weight and awareness into your right leg. Let that left heel float upwards, left knee rotate outwards. Maybe just keep the toes down. Maybe lift your foot upwards here, coming to our tree pose. And in bringing your gaze up, find your drishti point. Hands here might join at heart, might extend upwards. And on an exhale, bring both hands to heart center. Release that foot down to the ground. Scoot any blocks you might have been using up to the top line of your yoga mat. Set your blocks side by side, parallel to each other. Walk yourself forward so that your feet are standing between your blocks. Bring your hands to your hips. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Point both elbows backwards. Good. Begin to let your gaze fall in a drishti point here. And on an inhale, float your right knee upwards. Use your next exhale. Step your long right leg backwards. Start with the heel free, toes pointing forward. Keep both legs straight as you plug your back heel down to the ground. Now here you might adjust. You might shorten your stance. You might separate your feet laterally away from each other. Good. Bring your fingertips to your hip points. Notice if one is forward, and if they are, just bring them so that they're in a straight line with each other. Then an inhale, sweep all 10 fingers to the sky. Exhale, lengthen forward, catch those two waiting blocks. And again, always this option to change the height of our blocks or to remove the blocks altogether if that serves you better. Keep your left hip slightly moving towards that back plane, right hip slightly coming forward. Press into your fingertips, lengthen the crown of your head away from your back heel. Big inhale. On your exhale, draw your belly in. Let your spine lengthen long. Release the weight of your head down. Come to your breath here in our Parsvakonasana. If you're using blocks, let's get a smidgen higher if you have that space. Bring your hands a little bit further away from the ground. Keep your right hand plugging downwards here into whatever support is beneath your right shoulder. Bring your left hand to your hip. As your left hand comes to your hip, roll your left shoulder open, point your elbow outwards. Maybe walk your right fingertips slightly forward. Keep both heels down to the ground, actively press into your right heel. Extend the crown of your head forward. So really making your body long, spine parallel to the ground. Big inhale here. As you exhale, begin to rotate your heart to the left, gaze to the left. Maybe stretch those left fingertips upwards here, breathing into our revolving triangle. On an inhale, lower your lifted hand, coming back into our Parsvakonasana. Set those blocks back on their tallest height if you've changed their height at all. Use an inhale, bring both hands to heart center, hover here, spine parallel to the ground. Exhale, press into your feet, rise up here. Use your inhale, send that back knee in and up, back where we started. Maybe stretch your fingers up. And exhale, soften your lifted leg. Bring both hands down by your side. Here, come to a stillness. Let your eyes close. Nothing like a little balance to make us appreciate the weight of 2 feet down in the ground. And you might hear in this pause, take a moment just to explore how that pose has landed in your body. Releasing any judgment about wiggles that we may have encountered, tightness that we may have encountered. Just breathe into any sensation that you find. Now, as you're ready, let your eyes open. Fix your gaze again on a drishti. Bring both hands to your hips. Roll your shoulders back. Point both elbows behind you. And as you're ready, we'll bring our left knee now in and up, balancing on your right. On an exhale, extend your left leg backwards, drop your toes, straighten into both legs, and drop your left heel down. Good, take a moment here to land. So if you need to adjust your foundation to feel a little more steady, please do that. Find that alignment of the hip points. So left and hip, as if you could put a little ruler there. They'd be at about the same plane. Inhale here, extend upward. Exhale, lengthen forward over your long front leg. Bring your hands down to your waiting block. Good, and again, align your hips. This time, right's gonna come lightly backwards, not a huge swing back. Left is gonna come ever so slightly forward. Then lengthen upwards, so straight arms, spine lengthens here. Stretch the crown of your head forward. Keep pressing actively into your back heel. Fill this space with your breath. And as you exhale, let yourself soften forward into this shape, our extended forward fold, intense forward fold. Let yourself drop into your breath on this side. Releasing judgment about any tightness that you find. Release the story. And just breathing into what's there. And let's begin. If you have some room to lift upwards with your blocks by changing the height, let's begin to get a little bit higher into our hands. Good. Keep that left hand now on the ground on your block. Maybe scoot it slightly forward. Invite your right hand to your hip. And as your right hand comes to your hip, draw your head upwards. Keep your gaze down, but bring the back of your head slightly closer to the sky. Align your neck with your spine. Keep that front hip drawing backwards. Keep pressing into your back heel, lengthen forward. Nice big inhale here. Breathe into this space. Exhale, rotate towards your front leg. Might keep that top hand connected to your hip. Might stretch upward, coming here into our Parivrtta Trikonasana. And on an inhale, let's lower your lifted hand. Draw the inner edges of both thighs towards each other. Press into your feet. Use your next inhale, rise halfway. Bring your hands to your heart. Exhale here. Inhale, sweep your fingers up to the sky. Bring your hands to heart center. Fix your gaze in that non-moving point. And next inhale, bring your back knee in and out, balancing on the front foot. Maybe stretch your 10 fingers up. And exhale, soften your foot down to the ground. Bring both hands to heart center. Release your hands by your side as you come here into your mountain pose. Let yourself be present here with your inner landscape. Noticing once more how your breath is moving in your body. And on an inhale, sweep upwards, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, come forward, pour yourself into this pose of surrender, this Uttanasana. Let yourself rise halfway, gaze down, spine nice and long. Soften inwards here. Might stay here, fingertips on your block, jaw on the ground, or you might slip the palms of your hands beneath the soles of your feet. Good, and if your hands are beneath the soles of your feet, release here. Bring your fingertips back to the ground. Bend enough into your knees to bring both palms firmly to the earth and then step backwards, coming to the long line of your spine in your downward facing dog. Option to bend your knees here as much as you need to. Those heels can be lifted away from the ground. Any tightness in the shoulder, you might separate your hands towards the edges of your mat laterally. Any tightness in the low body, you might separate your feet laterally. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, invite both knees down to the ground. Take a seat here onto your heels. Bring your hands to heart center here, just breathing, eyes closed. Inner gaze can come to this point just between and above the brow. Good, release your hands down. Bring yourself down to your back body. And as you come to lying on your spine, keep your knees bent, keep your heels hips width distance apart on the ground. And just feeling here the weight of your body grounding down. Good, with your feet connected to the earth, lift your toes upwards. Take that action of connecting with the Pada Bandha. So the toes spread away from each other. Press actively through the four corners of each foot. Imagine lifting your arches upwards and soften your toes downwards. Keep this firm connection with your feet and the earth. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale, soften your hips down. Inhale, pressing up and towards Dvipada Pitham or bridge pose. Exhale, bring your hips to the earth. So option to stay here, or we could bring the shoulders into it. So as we inhale and lift up, our arms could extend over the head. And as you exhale and soften down, your hands can come down by your side. Moving in whichever of these directions with your breath. Each inhale rising, each exhale softening. And the next time your body settles into the ground, let's pause here. Bring your right knee in, interlace your fingers in the front of your right shin. Close your eyes. Maybe here we can return to that breath with a little kumbhaka, with a little pause. So maybe inhaling and taking a moment at the top of your inhale. And the exhale, taking that equal length, maybe just the beat of your heart, a pause. Next exhale, let's release that right leg. As you release the right leg, cross the knee over the left knee. The left knee is going to come slightly in towards center to accommodate that. Touch your fingertips up to the sky. Hug for opposite shoulder blades. Left elbow is going to come on top. Keep your elbows pointing upwards. Option to stay here, or you can release the shoulder blades and bring the arms into Garudasana, little eagle arms, so joining the back or the palms of your hands. Let your hands, if they're interlacing here, rest in your forehead. Keep those elbows pointing up. And you might stay here, or you might lift the left foot away from the ground, bringing both sides, both shins here parallel to the ceiling. And breathing here into our sleeping eagle. Good, and here, releasing the arms outwards, keep your legs intertwined. Let your arms come into the shape of a T, palms facing upward. Bring both knees down towards the right. If this causes any pain, always the option to unwind the legs, just stack knee on top of knee. Maybe bring your gaze now to the left away from your knees. And then an inhale, bring your knees back towards center, unwind your legs, settle both feet side by side. And then join the left knee inwards, interlace your fingers in the outside of the left shin. Keep your knee hugging inwards. Right knee stays pointing to the sky here, just breathing. And coming back to that breath with a moment of pause. Big inhale here. As you exhale, release your left knee. Cross your left over your right. Walk your right knee ever so slightly in towards center. And then hugging here for opposite elbows. This time, right elbow is going to come on top, left elbow underneath. Keep your elbows pointing upwards. Maybe staying here with your hands hugging towards your shoulders, maybe joining the back or the palms together. And again, if your hands interlace, let them rest in that point just between your brows. Keep your elbows pointing upwards. Maybe lift your right foot away from the ground, sending both shins here parallel to the ceiling. Next exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them away from each other. Let both knees drop now over to the left. Maybe the gaze comes to the right. Coming into this variation of Arjasara Parvriti. Always the option to take this to the classic. So if this is too much on your low back, on your knees, simply unwind the legs. Let the knees stack. And on an inhale, let's bring it back towards center. As you come back towards center, release both legs long. Let your arms settle down by your side. Make any little adjustments here that you need to be comfortable as you bring your body into the resting position of your Shavasana. Take a big inhale here. Retain your breath inwards without force. Feel that little vibration, that little buzz. And let your exhale be a sigh. Let your body relax a little more deeply with that long release. We'll do that one more time. Big inhale inward. Find a light hold at the top of your inhale. And as you're ready, let it sigh outwards. Let your attention drift away from your breath now. Let your attention drift as your body comes to a stillness. Let your body relax more deeply, more heavily into this space. Softening downwards here. Bringing yourself into this resting moment, this Shavasana.
Let your awareness very gently begin to return to that ever-present rhythm of your breath. And again, here, finding little movements into your fingers and your toes. Into your wrists, your ankles. On an inhale, reach your fingers backwards, stretch your toes forward, breathe into your body. And then exhale, bring your knees inwards, wrap your arms around your knees, give yourself a little hug. A little softening side to side. And let yourself come to rest easy on one side. Use your top arm pressing down to bring your body up to a seat. And I'd like to end with our buzzing bee breath today. This is a really nice way to kind of tune out the outer, again, keeping that awareness and consciousness on the inner world. It's also a wonderful way to beat insomnia. It's a good thing to do before bed. So to do the buzzing bee breath, you're going to take your hands, you're going to just kind of cover all of the face. You're going to bring some fingertips over the eyes, fingers over the ears. And the in breath is going to come in through your nose. As you exhale, you'll seal your lips and just hum. And so setting yourself up, setting your hands up over your face. Nice big inhale.
We'll do 3 rounds of this. Big inhale through the nose. And we'll begin. As you breath returns to stillness, release your hands down. Keep your eyes closed. And bringing both hands to heart center.